Hello, everyone. My name is Philip Palumbo, and I'm your host of the Palumbo Pulse, where I interview some of the most successful business people to learn about their background and how they got to the top and get their perspectives on how they see the economy and the business world overall. So today I have with me JD Frost. Thanks for joining us today, JD. JD has over 17 years experience in the accounting world, currently runs his own firm with a partner. So looking to get some great insights from you, JD. So thanks for your time today. Appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it, Philip. Thanks for having me on here.
All right, great. So where I always like to normally start is tell me about the day you decided to start your own firm. What,
Oh man, I was just talking to one of our team members about this just a few minutes ago, actually. Um, I didn't get the promotion that I wanted. I didn't get the pay raise that I felt like I deserved. I felt really undervalued and felt like that I was serving a client base that would follow me wherever I decided to go. And so I talked to a lot of people that I believe believed in me at the time, that I trusted, and I got their advice. Told them I was thinking about starting my own business. I didn't know if it was going to be an accounting firm or not. Honestly, I just knew it was going to be something in the financial world, and um, and I walked in one day and gave them my notice and walked out the door and started with a pen and a piece of paper, one of those yellow dog notebooks
all right,
to begin with. Yeah.
that's the way to do it. Now, did you have the company planned out, the name of the company, the location, the space?
No, I had nothing planned out whatsoever. I had no idea what I was going to be doing. I ended up naming the company JD Frost and Company at the very beginning because my name was the brand at that time, and so started from scratch. I was able to find some office space and started looking around at other more permanent office spaces, and literally just starting by writing down names of people that I felt like would be great clients and picking up the phone and talking to them.
JD, tell me, when you launched your own firm, were you nervous or stressed at the time?
I wasn't really nervous when I started my own firm. I mean, I kind of had acted like I had my own firm within the firm I worked at. Before that, for the last couple of years while I worked there, I just kind of took it upon myself to handle just about every issue that the client had. Really worked on my technical skills and client service skills during that time too. So when I decided to, start my own company, I didn't know it was going to be in accounting. I knew it might be related to it, and the type of clientele that I was serving before would be clientele that I would be wanting to serve. But no, I had a confidence about me. I mean, my family is a family of entrepreneurs. My grandfather had his own accounting firm back in 1963. He started his own firm at that time too. So I think I got it kind of running through my blood a little
Right.
bit. I come by it very honestly and naturally sometimes. And business conversations, fortunately for me, have been something that have always been shared around the dinner table. Christmas is coming up. Christmases were spent talking about business. And so I think that gave me a lot of confidence. I think I got the most nervous, honestly, when we moved into our permanent office space the first time and setting up everything,
Right.
having an IT person, and I think that was what made me the most nervous at that time.
Yeah, and that's because it's all the logistics that are involved with starting the company, getting it right. Same experience that I went through as well. But the key thing is, which was great, is that you recognize that your key attribute really is yourself and the ease and how you feel when you're in front of the business people that you're working with, and that's really the biggest part about any business is that when you have that key attribute, it goes a long way. So and obviously the conviction you had, which was tremendous, and here's where you are today. So you started the firm when about?
2012.
Okay, 12. Beautiful.
Yeah.
So tell my audience, when you were an employee, now you're a business owner, the differences, and would you recommend other people take that risk to start their own business?
I think it really depends on the person. I think that if you're thinking about doing it, that you should at least try it. If it's something that you've been thinking about for a couple years and you just haven't made that jump, make the jump. Go try it. No matter what age you are, I would say that anybody who has not retired yet has plenty of time to recover from maybe if that doesn't work. But remember, it's only going to work because you are willing to work it 24/7 for about 10 years.
Right.
Um, so I just passed the 10-year mark, and man, has it been quite a wild ride. But I think anybody should try it. I believe that those of my team that are watching this, that are on our in our company, we try to promote that entrepreneurship model as much as possible.
Mhm.
So those we've had some team members that wanted to do their own thing, and we're doing it inside of our umbrella at Croft and Frost. And I think that that's been obviously very helpful for us, but we want to create an environment to where people feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah, I think it's so tremendous that people need to understand that you really have to put in. For me, it was when I graduated college and I started my career at Merrill Lynch. I knew in my head, I said, you know what, I'm not going to go out and hang out with my friends over the next 10 years. I mean, I spend some time, I'm just going to grind it out as hard as I can from like 7 in the morning till 11 o'clock at night and do that for 10 years. This way, when I'm married and I have children, if I have to leave to go to the sporting event, etc., that I at least will be in good shape. And that really, that was the formula. Like if anybody asks what the magic bullet is, and that's really what it was. It's just like head down, push hard, grind it out for a good 10 years, built my clientele, and then start to snowball from there. So that's what people really need to understand. If you're going to start your own business, or even if you're going to be on the need, say if I'm going to come to you under your umbrella or other people and starting fresh in the business, use your platform and give it a good strong 10 years, push as hard as you can. And when you do that, the other end of it is a really great end of it. So,
Yes.
tell me about your being a business owner. What is your favorite part about it? What is it about having your own business that you absolutely love?
I think I absolutely love solving problems. I think I absolutely love having an impossible situation, an impossible challenge that I've never faced before, and going through it. And even when I feel like that I'm failing at it, when I feel like that, I think that, man, I've faced some crazy challenges over the last 3 years in particular in our business, and getting through those and still being alive and realizing that it's not something that's going to kill me. I think that's part of business that I really, really enjoy. And I would say a close second to that is um, having our team members be in positions where they might have been uncomfortable at one point in time, but then a couple of years down the road, they're like, man, I got this. I've done this before.
Right.
I know how to do it now. They got the experience. And you see their confidence level grow, or you see some other part of their life grow and change. I get a lot out of that as well. So I really like that about business ownership.
That's great. The problem solving thing is just so tremendous. So you and I are very similar in terms of finance, but this year has been a challenging year with stocks down and bonds down. And one particular client decided to buy a home in Florida. And with that came a large expense. So our plan changed very, very quickly. And he got concerned with markets and bond market, et cetera. Long story short, we set up a strategy that we finally just literally implemented about a day or two ago. And I feel so much better. He feels so much better. And it's like amazing. Like there's this whole new world now where we have him set up where he's comfortable, he has peace of mind. And now we could do what we need to do with the other investments to help him out as he lives the rest of his life. But that whole process that we went through, it was a challenge, right? Because it's like there's a major life event that changed. So now we have to change with that, implement the appropriate strategy. And after you're done, you just feel really gratified. So that's I totally agree with you in terms of that.
Yeah.
So tell me about your firm. I'm a prospect.
So
You don't know me. Tell me about your firm.
yeah, so Croft and Frost, our guarantee is we're going to change the way you think. We're going to change the way you think, and we help our clients and our team build courage and create wealth. And we do that through what's called the 4 foundations of wealth creation. Number 1 is increasing your recurring monthly income. Number 2 is saving money on taxes. Number 3 is protecting that income through tax-free wealth. And number 4 is investing in yourself and others. So our company, Croft and Frost, my business partner, Paul Croft, he is a visionary. I'm the integrator. So he and I kind of trade back and forth. Croft means anything is possible. Frost will make it happen. And so when we are talking with business owners, specifically or traditionally is about their taxes, because that's the easiest way to start working with us, is us to help you with your taxes. But that is quickly becoming the easiest ways to work with us is to join our Onward Accelerator program, where we're going to be educating you on the 4 foundations of wealth creation. So we believe that everybody has a different definition of wealth. Some people might think they want $1 million, but they really just want to spend more time with their family. Some people might think that they want to own a business, but they really just want to have maybe 5 weeks vacation rather than 2.
Right.
And so defining what wealth is a really important step to get what you want, and kind of breaking through a lot of the noise that we see, out in the world on social media, places like that are kind of maybe misconstruing what financial freedom might be. And so at Croft and Frost, we are helping our clients to understand that through those 4 foundations.
So when you say define wealth, give me an idea or an example on your firm has a specific definition, or you meet with your client.
Wealth defined by the individual.
Right.
And so, what is wealth to me is different than Claire, is different than Rocky in our organization. And so for our clients, Pat might have a different definition than Scott does. And so for us as a firm, when we're talking with our clients about tax saving strategies, when we're talking with them about tax planning, increasing their tax-free wealth, when we're talking with them about those things, we have to understand who that person is and how they think and what their risk tolerance is, because we can tell them the best tax strategy in the world, but if they're not the kind of person that's going to make the decision on it, it doesn't really matter. We're not going to be able to help them. And we got to make sure that that definition of wealth is fulfilled. And that might not necessarily be fulfilled through saving money on taxes. Some people might want to buy a house next year. Well, we want to show as much income as possible so they can get that loan from the bank.
Right.
So it's really important to understand what is wealth to that person from year to year. That's
great. Rather than just sitting there, just from talking to you, you seem like a much different CPA than I'm normally used to speaking to.
Yeah.
One, which is really great. There's actually somebody here in Long Island, I would say, is very similar to you. He's been in the business for a very long period of time. I think he's like one of the biggest on Long Island. And I think he's maybe 35th or 26th in the country, somewhere around there. But he's really built a nice firm from the beginning. And much of his thought process is much like yours, which is true. And it's just like my business too, right? So like I could just invest people's money and say, someone calls me up and say, hey, Phil, I have an interest in working with you. And I can say, okay, show me your statements. I can look at their statements, like, oh, they're not doing a good job, transfer your accounts over me. But that's not enough, right? So like taxes is the main skill set that you're going to provide value. But the additional part is the planning and talking to them through your 4-step process, like you said. And same thing for me, it's really the planning part and helping them really understand, like, okay, what is it you're really trying to do with your investment specifically? Like, why are you investing? Why are you taking risks? Why do you own this? Why do you own that? So really helping them understand, like, what is the vision for your life for the rest of your life and what we really need to do to accomplish that.
Right. Yeah.
It seems like you're taking taking them down that same road.
Yeah, 100%. And so we have to define what that wealth is for that individual at that time.
And makes
a lot of what we do from time to time is, 90% of what we do is psychology. I mean,
100%.
We have to listen to a lot of issues, a lot of problems, a lot of challenges, and help to solve those problems. And the IRS is a scary thing to a lot of people. And money is a scary thing to a lot of people. They don't want to talk about it. They're very uncomfortable with it.
Yes.
And so we want to create an environment to where they can talk about it. Where they can admit, where some wrong things happened, or where some really successful things happened. And now I don't even know what to do with it. We had an event last night. The guy's like, I don't know what to do with all this money. I don't know.
Yeah.
So we help them kind of navigate those decisions. I probably ought to call them and tell them to give you all the money, right?
We could talk about that after this. and vice versa.
Yeah.
Accountant side. So tell me about when you're sitting down with your clients. What are the in your career of doing this for 17 years on your own since 2012, right? 2012.
Mm-hmm. Well,
What
that's
made
where I started the company.
started right? What major challenges do you hear from business owners like myself? Like, what are they telling you they need help with?
I think the biggest thing is they need help with knowing what to be helped with. I want to know what I don't know. And so it's really hard to discover that people don't know certain things. The most common thing, and when I sit down with a client, is like, tell me what I'm missing. I don't know what you're missing until I ask you a lot of questions and I'll look at your tax return. I think that kind of is a leading indicator too of tell me what I'm missing means I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know what I want. So when somebody says, tell me what I'm missing, I'm kind of like, okay, well, what do you want? Do you want to save money on taxes or do you want to be financially free? Or you have no idea what you want? So I kind of get down to a little bit more of a core, a core process of figuring that part out to then be able to help people build out a strategy. Sometimes I think I spend a lot of time just listening to people. I got a guy who he's flying down here from Delaware to meet me for 2 hours on Monday. I couldn't believe it. He's like, yeah, I'm going to fly down there and just meet you for a couple hours.
Wow.
I have no idea what we're going to talk about. No clue. But at Croft and Frost, we have the framework of the 4 foundations. I'm sure we'll touch on some of those things. Mm-hmm. And I don't mean that to brag and because I'm all good and great or whatever. I just get asked by some people like yourself, like, what's your typical process like? What's your typical consultation like? And it's more just a lot of listening and asking questions.
It always is. I would say on the part when you just said that your challenges that your business owners, when they come to you, is what are they missing, right? I would say that's definitely one of mine as well, right? So like I take certain deductions every single year. Am I taking and maximizing all these deductions? Am I missing something? Mm. And yeah, so I would say that's all right, right? I mean, that's the common thing. I guess the one thing I would hate is that if I sat down and got a second opinion from another CPA and they looked at my return and said, well, why didn't you deduct this or why didn't you deduct that? And they started to hit it all up and like, oh my gosh, that's $1,000 that I just lost out on because my current CPA, for whatever reason, didn't advise me properly.
Yeah, and that happens a lot.
I'm sure it does.
It could be because that CPA or us. Look, nobody's perfect. Like I'm sure that there's CPAs that could look at the tax returns that we prepare and they might be able to find something. They might, because they might ask a question in a different way that the client might understand better. It's like this guy I used to work with. He walked in one day and he was like, hey, where's the general ledger? And the lady was like, we don't have a general ledger here. And he's like, how do you not have a general ledger? She was like, oh, you mean the big green book where all the journal entries are recorded? And he's like, yeah, the big green book where all the journal entries are recorded. Where's that? She's like, oh yeah, it's right here. So if you don't ask the question the right way for that person to understand, you could miss something on a tax return. Because the thing that most people don't understand is it's not the fact that we won't record something that you've given to us to put into the tax return, like a deduction or whatever. It's all the things, all the opportunities that go through your bank accounts that nobody's asked you about.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. And that's why I tell every client that I work with, when you are trying to minimize your tax bill, when you're trying to take advantage of every strategy you can, and you are not meeting with your CPA and having a discussion with them and going through your bank account, going through your financials and answering questions, asking questions, it's up to you to have those strategies happen for you. If you're not doing that on a monthly basis, you're missing out. I mean, you're gonna miss something. So it's the consistency that is the key to saving money on taxes. And that's where I start to get clients' belief system, moving towards that belief system, because it's their responsibility. It's not my tax return. It's your tax return. I'm here to help you, but ultimately it's your return. It's your wealth. It's your life. All I can do is provide some advice. I can't make you do something.
Right, right. So JD, you doing this for as long as you have, what would you say as a business owner, the number one and number two aspect of taxes that we should be aware of that could be evaluated?
I would say just what I said. The number one aspect of taxes is that it's ultimately your responsibility. Those clients that are the most successful with our firm and with any other CPA firm out there are the business owners that realize that taxes are the number one expense they have every year that they don't get to deduct. So they need to spend time every month looking at those opportunities with their CPA, having a 30-minute conversation at a minimum, hour at a maximum, 15 minutes, 10 minutes. The fact that you're in the habit, just like working out. If I want to get stronger, I need to work out every day or at least 3 or 4 days and then take a couple of days off. You got to have the consistency in order to save money on taxes if you're a business owner. And the mindset that it's your responsibility. I was talking to a client earlier. She had a bad experience with our firm. Totally understand that and will take full responsibility for that. Advised her in the future, look, if people aren't reaching out to you, you got to reach out yourself. This is your tax return. And you know, that's a little bit different mindset for business owners.
Yeah, I mean, I noticed that in the accounting world, like my business is different. I do reach out to my clients on a monthly basis or every other month and just check in with them. How you doing? Any questions for me? Accountants are really actually, I don't even know one other service provider that does that. You know, doctors forget about it. I mean, they're in another world, literally. I mean, thank God for them. They do great work, obviously, all that great stuff, but they are like the whole medical world, the traditional medical world is just in another world, literally. Right. From a service standpoint, number one, and number two, lawyers, right? Lawyers are not really calling, following up, but checking in. So there's not really many service providers out there that are actually checking in to say, hey, how are you? Checking in, how's everything going? So I understand how I understand how the responsibility really is on us. Like I do reach out to my CPA and say, hey, you know, a couple months went by, I have some thoughts here, year end's coming, et cetera. So you're right, you do have to be proactive. So that's key for business owners to understand.
Yeah, proactive on that side of things. I mean, I reach out to my financial advisor regularly, you know, like, hey, there's some things coming up that are concerning me. And I'm even a financial guy, you know? And so, yeah, I think that's extremely important. And then the second thing I think for most business owners is educating, reading. And the best thing to read is the Kiplinger letter. It's a pretty traditional, I don't know if I call it a periodical. Are you familiar with the Kiplinger letter?
Yes, I don't read it, but yes, it's more investment related though, right?
I think that is the best thing for business owners to be reading on a weekly basis. Comes out every single week. Has lots of great information about the economy, is going to kind of tell you where things are going from a macro perspective, is going to tell you tax reform that's getting ready to come up, the different tax strategies to be able to look out for. So that's a very easy way to be proactive as a business owner, to read that letter. And then on the tax section, call your CPA, text them, say, hey, have you heard about this new S-Corp election or whatever it is? And that's a way for you to know that you're not missing things.
Yeah, love that. That's great. That's great advice. Let's turn it towards the economy. So you have multiple clients, business people. Are your clients, your business clients, are they concerned about the economy in 2023?
Oh, yes. I mean, I think every business owner that we come into contact has concern about that. I think those that are trying to sell their businesses right now are definitely trying to get it done before the end of the year. I think that me personally, I feel like that from a real estate perspective, because I'm involved in real estate, first, second quarter are going to be great times to wait. If you're thinking about buying something right now, wait, because I think you'll be able to get it for a better deal through the second quarter next year. And I think that the rates are going to continue to kind of smooth out. I don't think that they're going to continue to go up. I think it's going to smooth out and maybe even possibly go down after the second quarter next year. And when you have that kind of volatility in the market, business owners, this is the time to gain market share. It's the time to double down on, I believe in writing your goals down, affirmations, working out, your daily routines. It's the time to double down on those things, because that's what's going to push you ahead of the competition in your industry.
Yeah.
And I think that these times that are unstable or feel unstable is when we can double down on the efforts to make our lives more stable.
Yeah.
And that's in our daily routine.
You find that any of your business people are making any changes to their business? Are they laying off employees to
I,
prepare?
I have mostly seen larger corporations. You see them in the news about laying off employees. I've not had any of our business owners, to my knowledge, lay off any employees yet. These are smaller businesses
Yeah,
under 50 million in revenue.
right. And any particular industries that your firm happens to work with right now?
I'm sorry.
Are there any particular industries that your firm happens to work with right now? Just
Oh yeah, we're primarily in construction. We're in manufacturing. We are in distribution, and I would say we're in. I don't know other way to say it than social media. You know, those Instagrammers and Facebook and crypto guys out there, guys and girls. The the I think most of them don't have a lot of employees, so that's probably why we don't hear about that a lot as far
right.
as when people go, because a majority of our clients are a younger entrepreneur that are kind of in the middle of building their team, and it's pretty easy for them to make money without a big team quite yet.
Somebody comes to you and they ask you, how should I invest my money? Right. I know you're not a financial advisor, but you are in finance and you probably have an opinion. How do you normally advise someone?
Yeah. With like, how should I invest my money? I always ask them what they want. Do you want cash flow or do you want to build equity? Do you like real estate or do you like businesses? Do you want to loan somebody some money and make interest? Do you have anybody that you trust? Do you have an advisor that is helping you? Do you have a mentor? Have you invested in yourself recently? And by investing in yourself means, have you gone to a conference? Because every single time I meet somebody new, my income increases. I'm glad to have met you today,
Yeah.
right? You're somebody new I've never met before. And I have a feeling my income is going to increase because of it. It
Right.
almost happens every single time. Maybe not today, but it will in the future.
Right.
So I'll ask them those questions. Um, when somebody, I typically try to give them my experience. I'm invested in real estate myself. I'm invested in the market. I am invested in life insurance. Or I shouldn't say invested in life insurance. Forgive me. I should say I'm using that as a hedge.
No, I understand.
You know that better than I should. Um, so I always believe that there is I think there's a great advantage in having a bunch of buckets that your money goes into every month. So when I'm talking to clients, I want to make sure that they're getting those buckets set up of those type of investments that they want, so that when they have the cash come in their bank account, they don't have to think about where does it go now. I
Yeah.
think that's the worst thing. That causes a lot of stall. That causes
Mhm.
procrastination. I know that when money goes in my bank account, it goes right back out pretty quickly, at least within 30 days. And then all of a sudden I have no money again, and then it fills back up and goes back out. So it's constantly working. And I feel like that money has to be moving in order to have value.
Yeah, I would agree with you. So I would say, for my 22 years experience of doing this, especially for younger entrepreneurs, younger investors, the number one thing that they can do is don't build up cash in the bank. It's a waste of time. Keep your money in stocks, real estate, private businesses. Those three buckets are really great buckets, and stay always invested and consistently invest every month. Take money out of your account. I mean, everything you just said, they don't realize the value of the compounding of interest and how powerful that is. Growing your money over 10%, growing your money on average by 10% over 20 years, even by 11 or 12%, how much of a difference that 1 or 2% means. You get to 15%, it's like, oh my goodness, like you're talking about real true compounding of interest over long periods of time. When they grasp that concept, and I wish I did even more so as when I first started in business. For me, I always talk to my brother about this. He does the same thing I do. For us, it's almost like we've been our experience has been so terrible with the economy and markets, where, for example, we saw the S&P 500 correct so far, correct twice over a 20-year period, and down 20, 30% 2 or 3 other times, right? So for us, it's like what we've seen has been so discouraging. And I think because of that, we didn't have the confidence that we would have liked to have had, from when we first started in the business. But now looking back, no matter what environment you're in, it doesn't even matter. In fact, when markets really correct a lot, that's a good opportunity as you're putting money to work in dollar cost averaging. when
Yep.
markets recover, you really make a good amount of money. So that's an awesome piece of advice, and people really, really, have to really get that ingrained in them. And the problem, and everybody knows this today, is that we just don't learn this in school, and that is a huge, huge problem. So, we hope one day that'll be solved. And so many people are out there trying to solve for that. I don't know why it's so difficult. It's not really difficult. It's a concept that's pretty easy to teach and understand, that could really stick in people's brains. So hopefully that changes. But no, you totally nailed it.
Well, I think, I mean, not to go too deep into that, but I mean, I think the system is set up to not teach the right way,
Yeah, I
honestly.
know, but why would it possibly? Why would one want to set up that type of system where people fail? I mean, so many people fail when it comes to investing. I mean, people in their 30s, 40s, and 50s. People are making so many mistakes. It's
Mhm.
it's incredible. And it really, really hurts them over time. People could retire 4 or 5 years earlier if they just knew how to invest money the right way.
Yep. Yep.
Talk to me about coach. Do you have a coach that helps you? Who do you use, and how has that helped you?
Oh yeah. I'd say my I've had a couple different coaches over the years for different specific areas, like Hank and Steve, on my social media with Two Market Media. But my number one business coach is a guy named Dan Nosley through Sandler Training. He's been with me for the last, gosh, 10 years since I started the business, and has helped me tremendously. I
How
talked
does
to
he help
him.
you? Tell me specifically, if you don't mind. How has he helped you?
Oh man, he helps me every single week whenever I have a problem, whenever I have a challenge, whenever I need somebody to talk to. I mean, the whole thing of it's lonely at the top, it is, no doubt about it. Some stuff it's not always as easy to talk to my business partner about because of the difference that we have in our roles and responsibilities. And so I think that a coach that's been with you through a lot of the thick and thin, I guess, of business is extremely, extremely important. Um, and he's helped me just by, I mean, yesterday, honestly, I was freaking out about a couple things and getting in my head big time. And, he just reminded me that I need to write down my affirmations again. So I doubled down on my affirmations. I rewrote them a couple times, got my head clear, and came up with an idea that I needed right there at that time. And it worked. And so that's what he did for me.
That's
Um,
excellent. Good. That's great. Yeah.
yeah, it was awesome. And that happens very regularly.
Right.
But I had to invest in it. It was a lot of money to me at the very beginning when I invested in that. I'd never had a coach before. But, when he had approached me, I took a chance on it. And I would recommend to anybody to have a mentor, a coach, um, definitely for your business. You got to have somebody, even if they haven't had the same business as you. There is something about being able to call somebody and talk to them about your business,
Yeah.
and that does have experience, that does have formal training, is extremely important.
Yeah. That's important. That really is. I agree with you. So JD, this was a lot of fun today. I appreciate your time today, and your perspectives on your industry, about the economy, how to really improve as an entrepreneur. So it was a lot of fun.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate you having me on here.
All right, sounds good. So look forward to us talking a little bit more, and growing together with our firms. So it's going to be good stuff.
Yes.
Look forward to that.
Awesome.
All right, good stuff. Thank you. Enjoy your day.